Fun fact, did you know that Tom Cruise was banned by Bugatti? Or that he owns the World War II fighter plane that he was flying at the end of Top Gun 2? Yep, it's true. But before we get there, we have to ask ourselves what kind of crazy man scales the tallest building in the world unassisted. The image of Cruise navigating his way up Dubai's Burj Khalifa and hanging from the side of the building with one hand will remain etched in history for a long time. Yet this is just one of several insane stunts Tom Cruise has done. But there's more to Tom, ranging from his love for super-fast cars to heated arguments on live television and his belief in Scientology. In the midst of all the controversy, Tom Cruise, as we all know, has had a massively successful career as perhaps the richest actor in history, with a net worth of about $600 million. How does he spend all of his money while stunting his way between life and death? Well, let's begin with his love for retro cars, such as the 1958 Chevrolet Corvette C1, a stunning classic in light blue and white. This car definitely gives up a peep into the past and evokes emotion of nostalgia. But nothing beats the 1949 Buick Roadmaster, which was featured in the 1988 movie Rainman. In addition to these, his collection is as vintage can be, with a 1970 Chevelle Supersport, a BMW 3 Series E30, a 1979 Porsche 928, a 1996 Porsche 993, this hideous-looking 1988 Nissan race car, and a lemon green 1976 Dodge Colt. Tom Cruise's first car, which he drove from New Jersey to New York in search of his dream. However, as fascinating as these ancient cars are, would you choose them over a stunning SALEEN Mustang S281, which Cruise reportedly uses for casual errands? Well, I don't think so. It's the same car he's seen driving in the movie War of the Worlds. But nothing comes close to this black beast in his garage. It is the Bugatti Veyron, which Cruise purchased in 2007 for over $1 million. This luxury car is said to be one of the world's fastest and most expensive cars. It's not surprising that a stuntmaster who has driven at dangerously high speeds in movies chooses a fast car for real life. I can only imagine how often he's tempted to pull a stunt in the middle of the street. Let's hope the intrusive thoughts don't ever win, right? Anyway, it doesn't look like he'll ever be getting another Bugatti, as the automaker has banned him. If you're wondering why, let's just put it this way. The brave actor who has hung from high-rise buildings and helicopters did not know how to open a car door. In 2006, Cruise decided to cruise to the premiere of Mission Impossible 3 in his Veyron. He arrived safely, stepped out in confidence, and waved to his fans. All was going well until he attempted to open the door for Katie Holmes, who was his wife at the time. It was an embarrassingly humorous moment as he continually tugged on the door handle repeatedly until it finally opened. Bugatti wasn't smiling, though, and they placed him on a blacklist. A harsh response, in my opinion, and I really wonder why. But fast cars don't come close to Tom Cruise's love for flying. And he owns a $20 million Gulfstream jet and a $4 million Mustang fighter plane that was used in World War II. You can see it in the beginning and the end of Top Gun 2. In a world where we only have one life as opposed to the 9 lives we'd probably like to have, Tom Cruise made a daring choice on the record-breaking movie Top Gun. He decided that the fighter jet scenes would be real, no CGI. It had to be the real thing or nothing at all. At the incredible speeds of the fighter jets belonging to the U.S. Navy, Tom was there live and strapped in. No green screen or some visual effect. He withstood enormous G-forces and manned the cockpit himself. His bravery had fans crowding theaters like we hadn't seen in years to watch what became the highest-grossing movie of all time, with over $1 billion in revenue. And despite Tom subscribing to our channel and liking this video and turning on notifications, as you should too, this daring visionary hasn't always moved through his career with the speed of a jet or the comfort of the $45 million super yacht, like the 777, which he chartered for a luxurious vacation. In 2006, his career took a deadly hit, and it looked like it was over after a little more than a decade. Paramount Pictures, the studio that he had worked for most of his career, had made the decision to fire him. Why? There were other parts of his life that had become more pronounced and controversial than his crazy stunts. In May 2005, a snippet from a televised conversation between the actor and interviewer Matt Lauer was being played on repeat all over the country. The subject of discourse was Tom Cruise's Scientology religion and his opinion concerning psychiatry. Just a few weeks later, Tom was aggressively speaking against Lauer again on Oprah's show. The backlash from fans and critics caused a huge tsunami that threatened to take him under. The question on everyone's lips was, what happened to the actor that was loved and admired for his tremendous skill? Who was this angry Tom Cruise speaking belligerently about Scientology and pills for postpartum depression? Well, the truth was, Tom had believed in Scientology for the longest time, but he had a proficient publicist who had advised him on keeping his private life and beliefs away from the public. Her name? Pat Kinsley. However, the actor made a mistake that saw him kissing a successful career goodbye. He removed Pat from his team and formed another publicity team made up of other Scientologists. They had no idea how to protect his image and career while still openly defending his beliefs. Rumors that his marriage was arranged by the church began to make the rounds, and the negative publicity seemed to grow worse with each passing day. The success of his movies began to decline, and Paramount decided they had had enough. Things would come to a stop, but the Mission Impossible star was not going down without a fight. He proved that if he could climb a 2,000-foot cliff, finding his way up the career ladder again was a no-brainer. By 2010, he was back with Paramount for another episode of Mission Impossible. The studio was not so forgiving, though, as they insisted that another actor, Jeremy Renner, would be the lead. But Cruise didn't have to say much when he scaled the Burj Khalifa. The crown was his again, and the world acknowledged that. We've read how the brains of geniuses have been preserved long after death. But in the case of Tom Cruise, I'm hoping his heart is preserved and that the doctors are able to fish out the part where he keeps his audacity and determination. Tom not only keeps his fans on the edge of their seats, but also film directors, fellow actors, and other crew members. Director John Woo revealed in an interview that he was frightened by Cruise's determination to perform the cliff stunt while shooting the Mission Impossible franchise, that he actually tried to stop him. During the scene, Woo was so scared he was sweating and couldn't even watch. Still, Tom has shown us that he lives for stunts. And not just any kind, but the real terrifying kind. In the Mission Impossible Fallout scene, he ditched the green screen again. He always ditches the green screen, and instead opted for 16 rigorous hours of helicopter training for every single day for almost 6 weeks to execute a dangerous helicopter scene with difficult maneuvers and a realistic crash scene. In The Mummy, he had 64 takes in zero gravity. But does anything really come close to dangling from an aircraft moving at a speed of 200 knots for 8 minutes? I don't think so. But it's not only about his stunts, but the costumes too. If you watch the movie Edge of Tomorrow, you'd no doubt be fascinated by his many spectacular stunts. But you probably didn't know that the metal exoskeleton armor was real. I'm serious. It wasn't added via CGI like in other movies. The costume was made of real metal and weighed a tremendous 85 pounds. There are few actors of his caliber who'd sign up for such hassle, but that's Tom Cruise for you. If it's difficult, if it's been termed impossible, if it's scary, if it's dangerous, Tom Cruise is ready to try it out. And it doesn't matter if it's in the air, on land, or underwater. No ordinary actor holds his breath underwater for 6 minutes at a stretch. And that's it for today. Thanks for sticking around. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so you'll be the first to see the next one.